Happy Flags Day, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? It is a very rainy and humid day today, and I want you to see something. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can find it. Right here, right there. I have my watermelon fountain ready, but we don't have any sun, and it's a solar pump, so it's like bummer. So anyway, whoops. I'm gonna have to move because she's gonna cry the whole time. Good morning, everybody, again. We're going to sit in here because little Miss Tashir is hearing me talk, and she is outside in her pen area, so that way that the older dogs can get in and out and stretch and lay down and get their drinks of water and so on and so forth. So she's out in her little pen area. It's not raining at the moment, but it's coming again. Real excited about my hummingbird fountain. Of course, I will show you that. My garden is crazy. It's jam-packed full. Something happened last night. It was my fault, but one of my little roosters is either dead or missing. Somehow last night, with all of my chores and getting everything done, I forgot to put the 6 roosters and Gandalf into their, well, see, they were inside when I fed everybody and shut everything down inside the barn. Cleaned the possum, little Stinky, gave him some food, fed rooster, did all of that. And I forgot to put them in. So when I let Solomon loose, he went after them. When I put Solomon up with his dinner, I didn't even think about anything until I looked over and saw that door was open. Their outside door from their coop to the outside area. I ran into the barn and Gandalf was inside and 2 of the little roosters were inside. So that means 4 little roosters were missing. So I started hollering, little birds, little birds, little birds, little birds. 3 came out. I have not seen one of the little roosters. So I don't know if it's injured up underneath the barn. I haven't crawled around and done that yet. I figured if it was hurt that badly, it would probably be hard to save anyway. Those little roosters do not want to come out today. I have their little door open and they do not want to come out. That traumatized them. Gandalf, when I got him, the reason that I got him was because he was bleeding on his beak when they shipped him to Tractor Supply. So she bought him, took him home because she knew that they would pick at that. Well, his beak is bleeding right there in the same spot it was when he was first hatched. So he re-injured his beak, but he seems okay. So we're only missing one of the little roosters, and that's so sad. It's my fault. But Solomon is not good with birds. He's just not. Great Pyrenees are not always great with birds, and most oftentimes are not. So that is why I'm working with Tashir so hard and heavy. You know, I make her go into the birds. I make her, and my birds outside, my older birds, when I take her for a potty walk, I don't allow her to even look at them. She has to walk by them, and I'm training her the way that I tried to train Solomon, but it never worked. So that's sad. That is super sad to me because all of those little roosters were so cute, so full of spunk, and just lovely birds. All right. Today is Flag Day. 250 years of our military. Yay. But it's also the day of Trump's birthday military parade. How do I feel about that? I feel that, like he has always said, he wanted people to be at attention when he walks into a room. He wants the military parade to show his power, which in fact we have shown that we have become weaker with him in charge. I think it's a monstrosity of money for this event. I think that when people said, we want the budgets cut, and we want this cut, and we want that cut, well, you're paying for stuff that I certainly have never seen before. And I'm not going to go through the whole list. But I do want to talk about a few things. Trump's America is insane. Absolutely insane. It's like a reality show. They're showing you things to promote a certain way of thinking, and then they're threatening other people. The problem is, let me just read this, okay? Abnormal mental or behavioral patterns that violate societal norms. That's one definition of insanity. And that's what this is. Because in societal norms, as a collective, there are people, religions, cultures, races, ethnicities, ideas, educations, work skills. That's society. And now we're dividing society according to white Christian supremacy. And I can't understand why so many people are so mind altered on this. But there's a few other things that I find really, really funny. Okay. So I've wrote all this stuff down because I'll get off on a tangent and I won't mention any of it. So, controlling people through lies, which is what they're controlling MAGA people through, because they can't control people that have free thought and free will and something other than Christianity to hold them down in that sense. And then there's everyone else. So they're lying to one group who believe it, take it. And then everyone else sees through it. Now, let me just give you some examples here. And I think it's pretty normal. Voices, choices, and hypocrisy. Okay? I can remember when the MAGA groups were like, we're not wearing masks. We're not getting vax. No electric appliances. No electric cars, but then you root for Elon, right? That's weird. And then you want to take away choices in vaccines and medical care. You want to take the rights of other people to have the choices that you complained about. Do you see the hypocrisy on that? I mean, I'm just curious because, the more I look at it, I'm like, man, these people just really don't get it. They don't get it. The only thing that I can say, MAGA, you think protesters are paid and performative actions, such as a senator being put to the ground in handcuffs? Propaganda? A publicity stunt? What? If it was a publicity stunt, wouldn't he have hired the people to put him on the ground and put the cuffs on him? See, that's where it doesn't make sense. You can say what you want, but when you look at it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't jive. If it was a publicity stunt, then he would have had his own men cuff him, push him out of the room, and put him to the ground. I mean, that's how weird wired the brains are at this point. I think the plaques, there must be some sort of MAGA plaques that goes on the brain, kind of like dementia, the plaques. Okay. Well, I mean, Isn't that the way? If it was a publicity stunt, he would have hired the people to do that. I mean, I'm just saying. So that's what I've heard. You need to wake up, because every time you discredit the protesters as being paid, you are discrediting the people that alongside you pay taxes, support this country, and who belong in this country. Narcissistic. We know Trump is narcissistic. He's got a God complex, a king complex, whatever. You know, he thinks he's been chosen by God, and then he thinks that he should have, which I blame on SCOTUS for giving him the right to be a king, but he doesn't even know what the Declaration of Independence is. Does MAGA know what the Declaration of Independence is? I don't want to be ruled by a king. I don't want to be ruled by someone who is so vile, disgusting, and a felon, a criminal. Trump has been vile since ever since I can remember. White Christian nationalists and white supremacists, y'all are narcissistic. Because number one, you think the white race is above all others. You think, and I don't even know how, because obviously we're not the smartest, or we wouldn't be falling for this. And that's what's so funny, because you think you're supreme, but in reality, those fibers aren't meeting. You can't be superior if you can't critical think. If you're not using your critical thinking skills, your little thinking cap, you can't be supreme. You can't be superior. There is a Marine's wife who has been detained in an ICE center. And he takes that baby there every day for breastfeeding. A Marine, a Marine's wife, is in ICE detention, and that Marine has to take his baby to her every day for breastfeeding. You care about the military's rights? How about that soldier? Do you care about that soldier's rights? His wife and his child and him are directly being affected by this Trump regime. Do you know how many Marines really did not want to go to Los Angeles? Look that up. It's not their place. And it's not your place to lie. Because when you lie and you spread misinformation, you're not doing your country a service. You're doing it injustice. So to all of those people that are out there protesting today, congratulations on getting out there and doing it. I will be here because I cannot get to a protest place today. So happy Flag Day, everybody. Wave those flags, whatever color they are. But remember, our nation's flag is ours because we do not serve a king. Y'all have a great day. Hugs from a distance.